Hello and welcome to My Dad Listens to This. I'm Juliet the daughter.
And I'm Kevin the dad.
And Dad, who are we talking about this week?
Well, why don't you tell us since you're the person who picks them from my collection and not me?
Well, this week I was a little bit unsure. I had to go through your CD case several times before I made up my mind. And then I settled on this one because I grew up listening to her, so I wanted to hear some of her more adult content. So this week we're talking about Blossom Dearie. Dad, take it away.
Thank you.
Yep.
She was born Marguerite Blossom Dearie, according to Wikipedia. She was born Blossom Marguerite Dearie, according to her website. And it's always been kind of sketchy as to which order is the correct order.
Oh, okay.
Because, like they said on her passport, it was Blossom was first. Other records, Margaret's first. So, who knows? But anyway, we'll go with Blossom's the first name, Dearie's the last name. It is her real name.
Yes.
Either way, she came into the world April 28, 1924 in East Durham, New York. She reportedly received the name Blossom because of a neighbor who delivered peach blossoms to her house the day she was born.
Aww.
Although she once recalled it was her brothers who brought the flowers to the house.
Huh. There's a bit of ambiguity about her, huh?
Yeah, right from day one.
Like Gatsby or Tommy Wiseau.
I guess. At the age of 2, she was able to pick out songs on the piano, and formal lessons started when she was 5 years old. She was encouraged to enter the Peabody Conservatory at Johns Hopkins University.
Oh my God! You were you were reading it, and it was like, oh, this is more letters than I was expecting.
Well, as Homer said, you're Johns Hopkins, excuse me. Anyway, they have a conservatory for classical music at Johns Hopkins University. I thought they were just medical, but apparently they're not. So anyway, she was encouraged to enter there, but she switched to jazz. In the late 40s, she went to New York City and sang in Alvino Ray's Blue Rays and Woody Herman's Blue Flames. She started her solo career in 1950, playing piano and singing at the Chantilly, a small club in Greenwich Village. She met Nicole and Eddie Barclay, who convinced her to move to Paris to record for them, which she did in 1952. She formed the vocal group, the Blue Stars, who recorded from 1952 to 55, which included Michel Legrand's sister, Christiane, and Bob Doro, who will show up a little later. In 1954, the group had a hit in France with a French-language version of Lullaby of Birdland. Norman Granz, who created the Verb label in 1956, heard her and said if she ever came back to the United States, he wanted to produce her. She moved back in 57 and made 6 albums for Verve, all produced by Norman Granz. Songs from these albums make up Jazz Masters 51, which is the album that we're going to go over. She played either with a trio or a quartet, Ray Brown on bass and Ed Thigpen on drums being the mainstays.
And what were the other ones?
Let's see, one of them was Kenny Burrell on guitar. Another one was some other guy whose name I can't remember on guitar. Sorry, other guy.
What about piano or saxophone? Because you hear those a couple times. Well, piano's her, I know, but
Yeah,
who's
she
the
played,
saxophone player?
yeah, so she never had to worry about an accompanist.
So who's the saxophone player?
Some guy who had a horn.
Oh, boy.
I only do so much research.
I know, and I appreciate you for it.
In the 1960s, Blossom shared the bill with Miles Davis at the Village Vanguard.
Sweet.
Now, Miles was amazed that Blossom would tell her audiences to quiet down or otherwise make requests when they were less than attentive.
Huh.
Like, don't make me get up from my piano.
Don't make me come down there.
Nope. Blossom recorded an album for Capitol and then went to England and recorded 4 albums for the Fontana label. Her favorite of those was the live album Blossom Time at Ronnie Scott's. The BBC was instrumental in Blossom's developing worldwide following, as well as her introduction to musical admirer
Tony Bennett?
John Lennon.
Oh, really? John liked her?
Yep. And they actually wrote songs for each other.
Really? How'd they meet?
At Ronnie Scott's, maybe,
Okay.
I guess.
Wow.
I think that album came out in 66.
Did he ever mention his love for her in interviews?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, because I didn't read about that in the book, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but this was in, I believe this was on her official website.
Okay. So what year was the live recording?
1966.
Okay, yeah, that lines up.
In the 1970s, she started her own label, Daffodil Records, which allowed her to have control over recording and distribution of her albums. She also did voice work for the children's educational series, Schoolhouse Rock. Some of her pieces in this series were written by her friend Bob Doro, the jazz singer and composer, with whom she performed in Paris in the 1950s. Her voice can be heard on Mother Necessity, Figure Eight, and Unpack Your Adjectives.
I love Unpack Your Adjectives, and I like Figure Eight, too.
She received a Grammy nomination in 1973 for Best Recording for Children with the album Multiplication Rock.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because she was singing Figure Eight on it. Yeah.
She kept making albums and performed up until early 2007. She died on February 7th, 2009.
Oh, wow.
She was thought of as a musician's musician. The New Yorker called her vocal style a childish treble singing postgraduate lyrics. It was notoriously light and airy and was part of what made Dearie so distinctive. However, vocal coaches at the time argued that this unique vocal tone was the result of improper breathing.
Yeah.
Professionals encouraged her to sing from her diaphragm, and as Steve Martin would say, that would take years, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
But she brushed off these criticisms. She said she was used to singing sitting down, playing at the piano, not standing up at, a microphone.
And that does make it harder to breathe from your diaphragm sitting down. Like, I've tried it. It's not easy. And it's important to learn how to do it because, especially if you're singing on stage, you're not going to be standing all the time.
But she felt that if she did do it standing up and do it from the diaphragm, that her voice would have changed.
Yeah, and hey, as long as she wasn't hurting herself, then she can do whatever she wants.
She's also been called the New Yorkiest of New York singers.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's up for debate.
Which I kind of get. I mean, I can't put it into words exactly, but I mean, even she said herself that she was able to, how can I put it? Like, I guess she was popular like on the east side, the west side.
The north side, the south side?
Yeah.
Everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I can't put it into words exactly, but listening to this music, it makes sense to me. And for me, it's the New York where the only colors are black, white, and shades of gray. Not in color.
No. Oh, yeah, like in the old drawings. All right.
Okay, now, as for me, I unknowingly discovered Blossom Dearie, I'm doing the quotation fingers, when I was a kid watching Schoolhouse Rock on Saturday mornings back in the, oh my God,
60s, 70s?
Early 70s, I suppose.
And that was one thing I didn't know about that, just a sidetrack, is I didn't know about this until I got the Government Rock video, was that Cloris Leachman used to host it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, like, because in the other videos that I have, like, we have Grammar Rock downstairs in the basement, and I remember watching Multiplication Rock on DVD one time over at Mike's house, Mike Shav's. I was like, there was no mention of Cloris, and then in the Government Rock tape, Cloris Leachman comes out and sings a song, and I was like, what? Who's this?
Huh.
It's weird, yeah. But anyway.
Okay. Now, I have no idea what made me pick up this CD. I guess I was looking for something new. I'm glad I picked it up, though. It's still available. It's still in print, and brand new copies go for $25, but you can find used ones for a lot less. And Blossom herself selected and sequenced the 16 songs on Jazz Masters 51. And this collection came out in 1996. And with the title of Jazz Masters 51, yes, there were 50 other CDs that came out before this one. And what I did was, with the jewel case on the CD, when I picked out the CD, they have a list of 60 different volumes.
Yeah, I saw it inside the CD case.
And at first, they started releasing in alphabetical order by artist's last name. And then they got to a point where it was, okay, we'll just spew them out randomly.
Crank them out, yeah. Now, when did you realize that this was the same woman who sang Unpack Your Adjectives?
It was just, the voice sounds familiar, and that name sounds familiar, and why is that? And I'm sure I did some research and put two and two together. Okay. Yep. She unpacked her adjectives.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, first song. They Say It's Spring. I love the message of this song where everyone is telling this woman that, listen, the only reason you're feeling so good is because it's springtime. but she knows it's because she's in love. What's always sweet is that she and her partner know that their feelings for one another will last long after the spring is gone. Blossom's voice is so sweet and soothing, and I could picture this being sung in a lounge or even dancing to this with someone late at night. I always thought Blossom's songs were a bit odd as a kid, like from this album, not from Schoolhouse Rock, because she was so different than anyone I'd heard before, but she has an innate sweetness to her that you can't help but love and feel charmed by. So it's a nice gentle opener where she lulls you with her voice and you go into the next one with a smile on your face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like how it starts off. When I was young, I lived in a world of dreams, of moods and myths and illusionary schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Though now I'm much more grown up, I fear that I must own up to the fact that I'm in doubt of what the modern cynics shout of, which is probably that there's no such thing as love. Yeah. She's got her guy, and the world is great, and isn't everything just lovely?
But also at the same time, to those other people, she's going, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, we've all felt like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the weather could be crap, the world's a mess, but there's that special someone who makes all that go away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's face it, if you're walking with that someone in Central Park or wherever, this is the music playing in the background. It captures the intimacy perfectly, and with the quartet lineup making it more so.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing about, like, almost all these songs is just that small, you know, either the trio or the quartet. I mean, all these songs are, like, really intimate.
Yeah. Alright, next song, Let Me Love You. I don't know about you, but when I read those 4 words, the first thing that came to my mind was Can't Take My Eyes Off of You by the Four Seasons, because, and let me love you, baby, let me love you.
One of the great stalker songs ever.
Oh God, don't frame it like that.
Come on, it is.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that way.
Can't take my eyes off of you.
That and every breath you take, every move you make.
I want to hold you so much.
Stop it, Dad. That sounds romantic. And in the parentheses I wrote in my notes, lol, I almost called them the Jersey Boys. Theater nerd brain. Alright, so this song opens with a bit of a jolt on the piano, but it's an intriguing jolt. And then I realized those notes could be a musicalization of the reaction of the person Blossom is singing to, because the vibe I got from this song is that the object of her affection is finally realizing, wait, this woman has feelings for me? And they're completely thrown. And Blossom finds their reaction amusing, so she decides to have some fun with a little seduction and maybe a little elbowing, ribbing, and teasing, but it's all done with a grin on her face. However, the song kind of saddened me at the end, because Blossom ends the song by saying she'll leave the next day, and I thought, oh wait, did she only mean love in the sense of making love and nothing more? I'm willing to bet this was more about genuine love, but with that one lyric, you're a bit unsure at the end, so I'm wondering how their story ended. Good morning kisses, or wake up and no one's there?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I like the way it starts out where she just shouts out, let me love you, and then things just calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And then Herb Ellis, who's the other guitarist, I wrote it down, pitches in with a tasteful guitar solo. Mm-hmm. And Blossom wants to do a million impossible things to show her love. But at the end, like you said, she sings, I'll buy you the dawn if you let me love you today. And tomorrow I'll send you merrily on your way.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so I guess she just needed him for one night, I guess. And no, I would not turn down that invitation. But yeah, it's just like going along. And then you get that surprise ending, like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, it's like, la da da da. Wait, what? Oh.
I'm just going to do a million impossible things in a carnal sort of way, and then...
Yeah, you could interpret it that way, too.
And then off with you.
Well, that's what I thought, too. I'm like, does she mean it like that? But then as the song goes on, it's like, oh, no. And then you get to the end, and you're like, oh, shit, maybe she did mean that. All right, next song, Once Upon a Summertime. So this made me think of the song Once Upon a Time, you know, a boy with moonlight in his eyes put his hand in mine and said he loved me so. My favorite little detail in this song is the percussionist making the cymbals sound like the waves on the beach, ebbing and flowing. I love that. But oh god, this song was so sad. With this song, we have the seasonal romance this time. Blossom fell in love one summer, and now summer's gone, and so's the person she fell in love with. It's just a sad visual, just her sitting alone in the snow, singing this quietly to herself, maybe even seeing the person she loved with someone else in public. Just, oof, this hurts. But is this the song I'd play over and over and cry my eyes out to? Oh, 100% yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just from the first line, you know where this song is going.
Yeah, you're immediately like, oh.
Yeah, you know it's going to be, you're going down a sad, sad road.
Mm-hmm.
Great piano playing, and like you pointed out, I like the waves of understated cymbals perfectly evoke that winter time.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like a brutal wind.
I always thought it was supposed to be like the waves ebbing and crashing on the shore when she says, one summertime we were walking on the beach, and she's still hearing those, she's still picturing it in her head.
Yeah, I can see that, but I kind of associate more with like winter time comes and you've got those winds, and it just kind of sounds like that. But could go for either one.
Yeah.
I'm open.
Okay. All right, next song, Little Jazz Bird. So this song reminds me of a woodland fairy tale, but updated for the 60s, almost like something you'd see in a Disney short. A songbird hears jazz music for the first time, loves it, and goes back to tell all the other birds about this music. And already this bird is a bit of a pompous jazz nerd. I say it with regret, but you're out of date. You ain't heard nothing till you syncopate. I was getting La La Land flashbacks with Sebastian explaining to Mia why jazz is superior, and ooh, God, I wanted to throttle that guy. But this bird seems more good-natured, so I'm not too irked. I just found his pompousness funny. This also makes me think of what if Blossom Dearie was in a Disney movie? Because she'd done animation before with Schoolhouse Rock, but I could see her singing music for a Disney movie in the 60s, or even being a Disney narrator when they used to do those openings in their films with the storybook, and the narrator would tell you like the exposition. So if someone at Disney wants to animate it, or if any content creator or animator on the internet hears this and wants to create a video, I will happily be your first viewer.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is a little-known George and Ira Gershwin song from 1924's Lady Be Good. And Blossom considered this her theme song. It's utterly charming. And I can see why she thought this was her theme song.
Because she's a bird.
Yeah, because it almost kind of goes back to, she was encouraged to, apply to the Peabody Conservatory at Johns Hopkins, to go in for classical music, and then she hears jazz, and that's it.
Gone.
It's this new sound, it's totally gone, and I'm just going to spread the word. And you other boys, you got to pick up on this new kind of sound.
The gospel according to Blossom, in the jazz sense. All right, so Bang Goes the Drum. So this is the first song of Blossom's I remember hearing in your car. I think this song perfectly captures one of the old adages of musical theater. When you're so full of emotion you can no longer speak, you sing. And when you're so full of emotion you can no longer sing, you dance. So this song embodies both of these transitions because Blossom alludes to dancing as well as singing. This could be straight out of an old Broadway musical or even an MGM movie musical. I just watched the PBS documentary on Hal Prince the other day, so I had all these Broadway montages and Al Hirschfeld sketches running through my head while I was listening to this song. But what's great about the song is that the bursting into spontaneous song and dance isn't treated as something corny, and there's no cynicism of someone going, that's stupid, that never happened in real life, who the hell sings and dances in real life? That's why musicals aren't accurate. But what's also beautiful is the little bridge toward the end where Blossom sings the same lyrics, but there's an undercurrent of nervousness, because a person is not only nervous on stage, but they're also nervous falling in love for the first time and feeling something new. And I think that's what sets this song apart. They're willing to acknowledge the nerves that are initially there, but then the nerves immediately dissipate when they start to have fun and realize, wow, this is great.
Well, I kind of looked at it as like, there's that certain someone who just sets off everything in you, especially your heart. Bang goes the drum.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the dancing and all that, I kind of looked at it as like, well, that's what you're feeling on the inside. That's what's going on internally, as opposed to, I'm going to dance up and down Fifth Avenue, and if I'm lucky, there won't be the boys from Bellevue with the big butterfly net, trying to chase me and haul me off. But yeah, I definitely get what you mean. That this could definitely have come from a musical. Sprightly piano playing by Blossom. And I've got to ask you, the one thing about musicals, how is it that, like, someone's singing a song, and then, like, all the people around them
know the words? Oh, God, if you want to see a good parody of that, I think you would like The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals by Star Kid, where they address that point. It's about how this guy wakes up one day and everybody's just singing and dancing, and he finds this one other person who doesn't like musicals, and he goes, just picture it, everyone singing and dancing, and she goes, yeah, picture it, and he goes, no, everyone singing and dancing, and then she thinks about it for a minute and starts screaming and going, oh my God, that's horrible. Yeah. They also addressed it in, I forgot what Nickelodeon cartoon it was, where someone says to the cow, how did everyone know the words to the song, and how did they know the dance steps? And they said, oh, didn't you see the ads for a rehearsal posted around the neighborhood? And then you see it, learn the song and dance by tomorrow.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It's just, it's all heightened, it's all romanticized, so you just have to have a certain suspension of disbelief when you go into a musical.
And just the way that she sings this, it's like she puts her whole self out there. It's like she's putting everything on the line. Yeah,
and the person, meanwhile, is doing their Michigan J Frog, hello, my baby, hello, my honey, hello, my ragtime gal. All right, someone to watch over me. Okay, real talk, this song always makes me bawl. I first heard it in Mr. Holland's opus, and I was too young to understand it. And plus, when Rowena sings it to Mr. Holland in the movie, it's more of a seduction song, so it doesn't really grab me. That whole student...
It's a little icky.
Yeah, that whole student falling in love with the teacher side plot was weird anyway. Ugh. However, if a person sings it with sadness, oh, I'm a mess. And I also love hearing men sing this song because it allows a man to be vulnerable, and we need more songs like this for men to hear, to know it's okay to open up. Because the first time this song made me bawl was when Javier Munoz, the alternate Alexander Hamilton from Hamilton, sang it, and I was a wreck. Blossoms almost made me a wreck when I was a kid too, and hearing it again years later, I have to say Blossom's version is still great, but this version is so unique to her, I don't think anyone could pull off a cover of it, like try to replicate it note for note, because she starts off very fast, almost rattling off the lyrics, which threw me for a bit, and then her pacing gradually becomes more and more slow, and the change in pace is deliberate. At first she's kind of embarrassed to be revealing these deep feelings, so she kind of wants to get it over with, but then the more she thinks about it, the more lost in thought she becomes. And you can just see her singing this at a club really sad, you know, the spotlight's on her, the room's filled with smoke, and you just feel for her. I love this version, and again, if someone tried to copy it beat for beat, it wouldn't work, because you have to sing this song with your own personal truth, not Blossom's or anyone else's.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, the guy who was the understudy for...
The alternate.
The alternate.
Yeah.
Did he ever get to play lead?
Yes, he did. When Lin-Manuel Miranda left, he immediately became the lead and got promoted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a more famous George and Ira composition.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe their most famous? I don't know.
Probably after Who Could Ask for Anything More? I'm willing to bet.
I Got Rhythm?
I Got Rhythm, I Got Music, yeah.
So that's called Who Could Ask for Anything More?
I think it's called I Got Rhythm, but that's what I always call it in my head.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, believe it or not, this started out as an up-tempo, fast and jazzy swing tune in the 1920s.
I can't picture it as that way.
But in the 30s and 40s, singers started to slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
Once Frank Sinatra got his hands on it, he set the standard for this standard.
Or this ballad. Ballad.
This is the longest song on this compilation, clocking in at 6 minutes.
But it doesn't feel that way.
No, there's not a wasted second.
Nope.
And it has never seemed like 6 minutes long. If anything, it goes by so fast.
Yep.
And I'm thinking maybe the reason she sings it so fast at the beginning is, like I said, when it first came out in the 20s, it was this fast song. So maybe it was just a nod to that. And then slowing it down to what we all know. And I just remember when I moved out, got my first apartment, and I had this Frank collection.
Oh, yeah.
The Capital Years. And I put it on my CD player, and this song came on. I'm like, oh, shit, my life sucks.
Yeah, I already know the story from Mom. She told it to me a while ago, and I was like, oh, Dad. Well,
I got better.
Well, to be fair, it's like, for anyone who's single, and like, I've been single for maybe about a year, almost a year now.
No, you've been
year or two.
Single for 21 years so far? You haven't been married.
Well, no, but like single in the sense that I'm not dating anybody. Yeah, so it's like, I'm going along with my life. I'm thinking, all right, getting my degrees. I'm learning how to do new stuff. I'm feeling pretty good. And then I hear this song and I go, oh, shit. And it's like, just when it's like this meme I saw where it's a person standing there with hope, and it's labeled me trying to fix my life and get a new start, and then somebody's lurking in the back corner goes, my depression. It's just ready to strike. I'm not battling chronic depression. I'm not making fun of anybody who does, but this song is that for me, where it's like, I think I'm doing okay, and I hear this song, and I'm like, God damn it.
You'll be fine. I hate to raid the cliche closet.
There's someone out there.
There's someone out there. God knows it took me a while.
Yeah, I know. Alright, so next song, Le Temps. The best way I can describe this song is that it's French without feeling French. Like, it's not as over as something like Les Marseillaises. I adore the instrumentation of this song, and it kind of shrouds the song in shadow, which I think makes sense because this song is about a person's private refuge. The escape into nature to think about the person they love. And someone has it bad when they see the person they love in everything. And there are probably so many poems about seeing love in nature. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm 99% sure that they exist and I'm not making this up. Blossom's pronunciation is on point, and it's always fun to see rhymes in other languages like oiseau and l'eau. I think this is one of the few times where Google Translate did a good job because Google Translate isn't known for being exact. Heck, there's a whole series on the internet where people take classic songs, run them through Google Translate a few hundred times in different languages, and sing the results. Some of those videos can be funny, others it can be just like, that's weird. But I love this song, and I've never heard a song in French quite like this one before, and I think it's because Blossom made it her own.
Okay. All I can say about this song is, meh.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Well, I probably need to give it another listen. I mean, I've listened to it, but it doesn't move me for some reason. I don't know why.
Have you Googled the translation?
No, I have not.
That might help you. That helped me.
You think?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
It'll help you.
I will give it another shot. But yeah, for me, it's just like, it's there, it's okay, that's kind of it. Sorry.
Right. Nothing more. Alright, next song. Give him the ooh la la. So my first note, is that a euphemism? We shall see. And after listening to this song, I was kind of right. This song isn't my favorite on the album. It's a little too... I couldn't think of the right adjectives for it, so here's what I came up with. A little too saccharine, too fluffy, and I hate to say it, but a bit too childish. I couldn't think of the right word to describe this song. Like, words were percolating in my brain, but I couldn't get the right one. It feels like a song Adelaide would sing in her job, at her job in the musical Guys and Dolls, like it's one of those kind of songs. I just thought the rhymes were a bit of a stretch, and the Tallulah bit was a bit odd, because it does rhyme, but why make what I assume is a reference to Tallulah Bankhead? You got me. However, I want someone to make a reverse version of this song that could be funny. Call it Don't Give Him the Ooh La La, and write it about the Greek comedy Lysistrata. Make a whole musical number similar to A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum or The Boys from Syracuse, which is a musical adaptation of A Comedy of Errors. Stuart Damon was in it on Broadway. I think that would be funny. And again, if you are a musical theater content creator on YouTube, please make this happen. Emily Clark, please, 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 please. I love you. All right.
Okay, this was written by Cole Porter for his musical Dearie Was a Lady, and it was first sung by Ethel Merman.
Oh, I could see Ethel doing this. I might like that one a bit better.
Really?
Just because it'd be so out there and you wouldn't expect it. Like, why not?
I just can't imagine Lola Lasagna herself singing this.
Lola Lasagna?
She played the villainous Lola Lasagna on Batman.
Hold on. Okay. Hold on a minute. Hold it. Stop the podcast. Okay, I embrace the campiness of the Adam West Batman, and I embrace some of the villains like, oh god, there was the Lilac guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she teamed up with Louis the Lilac, Milton Berle.
Then there's the Shane guy, played by Cliff.
Oh, Shane, Cliff Robertson. Then you have Egghead by Vincent Price, who is forever iconic outside of the TV show. And then you have Ma, what's-her-face. Ma Barker, Shelley Winters.
Yeah, and then you have Tallulah Bankhead's character, Black Widow or something.
Yes.
Yeah, but Lola Lasagna?
Yep.
What was her thing?
I don't know. I would have to go back
throw
and
marinara at people or something?
I don't know. We'd have to continue watching the show.
On Roku. Oh, God. That broke my brain a little bit.
Anyway, Carol Burnett sung this too in one of her earliest TV appearances in 1956 on the American musical comedy for the show Omnibus.
That I can see too.
And since it's Cole Porter, the lyrics are clever, aren't they? Yes, they are.
Well, I don't think this is one of his
clever in a Aren't You So Clever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of his songs are better than others. This isn't one of his best.
I don't know. I think Blossom's voice is perfect for this romp. And I like the piano playing on this one, and I am totally sold on this. I think it just all works. You can't take it seriously. And the way that she sings it, it's just a lot of fun. I mean, she's having fun with it. The whole thing, the arrangement, the vibes, the whole thing. It's a hoot.
Maybe, okay, I'm going to get my theater card revoked for this, but I feel like I could hear Kristen Chenoweth singing this song, and I don't like Kristen Chenoweth. I know, theater nerds, they're going to come for me with pitchforks, but I don't. Dad's thinking about it.
I can't say it. I think her voice would be too high.
No, but I think she could pull it off. She has like the cutesy quality to it.
Really?
Yeah, she does.
Okay, Kristen, I thought you were great, Sally.
Oh wait, you saw You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown?
I saw parts of it.
Oh, what'd you think of it?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, she won the Tony Award for playing Sally. All right, but I guess I think of that because my generation knows for her more so as Glinda and Wicked, and that song is kind of, like, her song Popular is kind of in the vein of, like, Give Him the La-La.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I think it could work for her. All right, next song, Rhode Island is Famous for You.
Oh, boy.
He knows what we're going to talk about. That's why he's excited. All right. So the first time I ever heard the song was at a beta session on the Green New Deal hosted by Sunrise PVD. Sunrise is the grassroots organization that pushes for environmental justice. I was invited by my friend Aaron because they needed butts and seats. And at one point during the lecture, we got a 5 to 10 minute break, and they played the song like an intermission at a movie theater, at a play or musical. And I popped my head out because this was over Zoom, so I was at my house, and I said, "Hey, Dad, Blossom Dearie has a song about Rhode Island?" And he went, "Yeah." And that's when I knew I liked the people at Sunrise, because they were playing Blossom Dearie. Alright, so, the state song of Rhode Island, fun fact, is called Rhode Island's It For Me, written in 1996 by T. Clark Brown. I have never heard it, but I'm more than willing to bet that this song is better and should be our state song instead.
It should.
Now, having listened to it in its entirety, I have to say I'm surprised they never did a cover of this song on Family Guy. Think about it, it'd be perfect for Family Guy.
Seth, we know you listen to this podcast. Make it happen.
Now, they did do something similar with the original song We're Off on the Road to Rhode Island, sung by Brian and Stewie, so maybe they sang that song because they couldn't get the rights to this one. But I think Rhode Island is famous for you, it's cute, and the way she lists off all the states has some clever lines in it. And I couldn't help it, but when she sang Don't Be Blue, all I could think of was Nibbles Away, aka the Big Blue Bug of Big Blue Bug Solutions. And hey, in a way, Rhode Island is famous for nibbles. So someone could sing this song in nibbles. However, my journey with this song is not done yet. No.
Tell us, Jules. What happened? What happened?
To quote McNair, sweet Jesus. Because there's a clip of Robert Goulet singing this with mayor, governor, radio host, and convicted felon.
No, never a governor.
Never governor? Oh,
Never.
he ran for it, though, right? Didn't
No.
he? Okay,
he ran for it, but the rest of the state was smart enough not to elect him.
Okay. I was just making that part up in my head then. All right, anyway. Mayor, radio host, tomato sauce maker, and convicted felon Buddy Cianci. You know, the guy who makes me feel weird every time I walk in a pea pack because he was the one who got it restored to its beautiful glory, but at the same time he was corrupt as hell. Yeah, that guy. So I watched the video of him singing it with Robert Goulet, and oh boy, was it cringy. Parts of it were fine, but most of the time they were out of sync, and Buddy can't resist being a ham when all I'm trying to do is listen to Robert Goulet. But Robert didn't even know the words, and he had to flip all those pages, so he fell behind. And then the crowd started clapping weirdly at the beginning when they started singing, but maybe they were afraid if they didn't clap, Buddy would sick the mob on them and make them applaud at gunpoint.
Or raise their taxes.
Yeah. It was a mess, but whether or not you find it a beautiful one, that depends on whether or not you're a Buddy supporter. And most people still do support Buddy because they sincerely believe that RI was better when the mob ran it, and some people, unfortunately, find it hard to disagree. I remember Mike was telling me he read this book where this guy analyzed the state governments of all 50 states, or maybe it was all 48 because I think it was written in the 30s or 40s, and it said, the odd thing about Rhode Island is not that the government is corrupt, it is the people who are corrupt.
We're number one.
Wait a minute. Anyway.
Oh boy, okay. So this is from the musical Inside USA from 1948.
Yes.
It ran for 399 performances.
Not pretty sure.
It was based on the book of the same name by John Gunther. And this is probably the most famous song from that musical.
Yes.
And the wordplay is hilarious. Like you said, they run down the list of a lot of states. Like, you know, they know mink, so they grow mink in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And we get vests from West Virginia, tents from Tennessee. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And again, Blossom's voice is perfect for this song. And since this podcast comes to you from a basement somewhere in Rhode Island,
we're not going to say where, so you can't find us.
We do have to acknowledge, or I have to acknowledge once again what you already acknowledged, that this song was covered by Robert Goulet and Providence Mayor Buddy Vincent A. Cianci at Buddy's 1995 inauguration. The video is out there on the interwebs. Search for and watch at your own peril. And it was also used as Buddy's theme song when he had a talk radio show between mayoral stints.
Yep.
And it has been used for the podcast Crime Town about the mafia in Providence and all the shenanigans that went on for
decades,
a long time. And I have got to get around to listening to that podcast because I can say, oh my God, I know that person. Oh, that's Judy's dad. and this and that and so on.
Yeah, my dad's friend, her father was the judge in the, what's the official name of the case?
Oh, it was the bonded vault robbery.
The bonded vault robbery, yeah. Hi, Judy, if you're listening. I'm sorry that you had to get escorted to school by the cops every day. I'm glad you're safe now. Sorry.
But anyway, I love this song, and when she sings it, I feel, yeah, she's singing to me. Because Rhode Island really is... Are we famous for a lot?
Well, we're famous for Viola Davis.
Okay.
We're famous for Deborah Messing. We're famous for Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy. We're famous for Nibbles Woodway. We're famous for Coffee Milk. We're famous for RISD. And we're famous for Chris Van Allsburg. Polar Express, dude. Anything else? Alrighty.
Can we say, well, Talking Heads started
Yeah.
at RISD?
Yeah, we can say that. We claim them as our band.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, somebody had the audacity, I remember, to say, like, the most underrated attractions in East State, and they said that, the Big Blue Bug was, overrated, and people in Rhode Island got mad. It was like, clearly a Rhode Islander did not make this list.
Well, I can see it because you're just driving by it.
Yeah.
You're
so proud of it.
You know, you're getting your best view driving by it on 95 South, and it's not like you can actually stop and go, oh, look, it's a prefabricated bug on the top of some building.
Mm.
And now, this time of year, I'm sure it has the Rudolph nose and the antlers, and it's got all the Christmas lights.
Yeah, and then there was one time where it had sunglasses and it was drinking an awful.
Oh, yeah.
And someone said that's the most Rhode Island thing to happen to Rhode Island. And also, fun fact, I felt less bad about ours because the one for Massachusetts, the most overrated attraction, Plymouth Rock.
Yeah, because it's been broken and cemented together a few times.
Yeah, so, we're better than Plymouth Rock!
But
so
yeah, I bet you, hey, listeners out there, you know, listening to the two of us talking about this plastic bug, I bet you're all jealous and wish you lived in Rhode Island. So
yeah,
you
you're jealous because you don't have nibbles. Alright, anyway.
Woodaway.
Nibbles
Yeah,
Woodaway.
he has a first and last name. Anyway,
next song.
Please.
2 for 2 and 2 for T. So this track reminds me of the Mr. Rogers song, Just for Once. It's not as well known as some of his other stuff, but it says, just for once I want you all to myself. Let's be alone with nobody else to tell us do this, do that, sit down, get up, come back, and nobody else but you. And like Just for Once...
That's a Mr. Rogers?
Yes, it is. It's on the CD that I have.
Wow, that sounds a little intimate.
It's one of his older ones.
For the older kids?
I don't know. I don't think it was from Children's Court. I think it was from the early days of the show. Anyway, just like Just for Once, T for Two is a great song about escapism, because life can get to be too much, and you do need to escape for a while so you can relax and sharpen the saw and come back with a full enough tank to keep going. There's a reason that rest is defined as a human right under Article 24 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And rest and escape are hard to find today. Well, harder to find today, I think, in the age of social media and the 24-hour news cycle. I mean, you can manage okay if you know when to turn off the TV or your phone, but some people don't and eventually face the emotional and mental burnout. So that's what part of the song is, an escape from life, but also part of it is life is so busy, I don't see you anymore, or oh god, I miss you so much, I wish all these other people could stop getting in our way. Sometimes people can go on vacations, but some people can't, and even if they can, it's only for a limited time. So you create a mental refuge to go to. You just need to come up with something to get you through this life, or you won't last. Sometimes you need tea for two and a sugar cake and a long nap.
Okay, this was written for the musical No No Nanette.
Oh, yeah, that one with the Babe Ruth history.
Yeah, which Boston Red Sox fans fondly remember this musical as it was what cost them Babe Ruth back in 1920. Then Red Sox owner Harry Frazee was also a theatrical agent / director / producer.
Yep.
And he liked owning a baseball team, but his first love was the theater. So whenever he needed money to finance a musical,
bye-bye,
he'd sell off a Red Sox player. And in 1920, he sold Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees.
And we were cursed until 2004.
Yep. And I guess luckily for him, No No Nanette was a big, big success.
Yes, it was. It was a hit.
Which, yay for him.
Yay for him, bad for us.
So since we got PBS Passport on streaming,
yes,
I've been watching the baseball documentary by Ken Burns, and I just got through that part. And like when the series first aired in 1994, watching that whole thing unfold, where you know he's going to sell off Babe Ruth, and it happens, it was like, oh my God. We're never going to win one. But now watching it in 2020, and we've won in 2004, 2007, 2013, and 2018, it's like, yeah, okay, that happened, but, yep. Yeah, it took 86 years, between titles, but...
Hey, we got it! It was like when the Bruins finally won the Stanley Cup when I was in middle school after, 40-something years?
Almost.
Yeah.
Okay, so usually this is a faster tempoed song, and Blossom slows it down so you really get to hear the lyrics. And yeah, you listen to them and realize that this was made to be a faster tempo song.
I think it was slowed down.
But yeah, it does though. She really makes it work. And I like how she does that with some of the other songs that we'll get to where you're always used to hearing them fast, but she just puts the brakes on them and you really listen to what the songwriters were saying.
Well, I think it doesn't work with the next track, so let me elaborate. The Sorry with the Fringe on Top.
Oh, we're going to disagree here.
All right, so for those of you who don't know, this song is from the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical Oklahoma.
Okay?
Yeah, okay?
Okay.
So, if you want an in-depth analysis about how this show revolutionized musical theater, listen to the Oklahoma episode of the Musicals with Cheese podcast, guest starring content creator Emily Clark. Now,
guest starring who? Consecrator?
Content creator.
Oh, content creator. Consecrator. Is that another title, like Keeper of the Cheese?
No.
Consecrator of the Cheese?
Also, hi Musicals with Cheese fans. You are listening to the voice of the Keeper with the Cheese. Alright, I'm going to get off my high horse. Anyway, now, in the context of this show, Curly is trying to ask out Lori, and he promises to take her out on a ride in a nice Surrey carriage with Fringe on top, and they'll have a nice romantic ride back home. Now, the only other woman I've heard sing this song is Ali Stroker, who played Ado Annie in the Broadway revival and became the first person in a wheelchair ever to win a Tony Award. Her cover of this song was very Dolly Parton-esque, and it was part of the Rodgers and Hammerstein Goes Pop series, where all these classical musical theater songs were redone as pop songs. And I have to say, Blossom's cover underwhelms me. At first I thought, okay, this could work if it was Lori singing this to herself when she got home after going out with Curly and started to get ready for bed. Like, she's humming this to herself while she's putting on her PJs, washing her face. That could work. But I think the reason this falls flat is that Richard Rodgers wrote the music for this song to have bounce in it in the way a carriage would bump and bounce on a road. And then eventually the carriage slows down as Curly sings about the day getting older and Lori falling asleep on his shoulder. So there's supposed to be a musical progression with the song to replicate a ride in a Surrey, but also to foreshadow the arc of their relationship as a couple. Starts out as bumpy, but then it gets smoother as the show goes along. So, I'm sorry, Blossom, but without the bounce, there's no point to this song, and for those reasons, we had to chop you. It was late at night when I wrote that last line. I'm sorry.
Had to chop you?
It's a reference to Chopped on Food Network. That's what they always say when they eliminate a chef. It's like, Chef so-and-so, your dish was great, but this part was bad, and this minor detail made the dish not work, and for those reasons, we had to chop you today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I disagree.
Okay, why?
Just because.
The end.
No, I just like that it's slowed down. It's different. It's unusual. It's so unexpected. And Blossom said that the reason that she did this song was because she came from the country. Granted, it was Eastern New York, but that was probably like
the boonies,
out west, like maybe upstate,
New York State,
like the part of New York that doesn't have the buildings.
Yeah, well, there are rural areas out in New York State. We drove through them when we went to Rochester for Ben and Jimmy's wedding.
Yeah, and then there was the time, well, just doing that drive to Cooperstown.
Cooperstown, yeah. Cooperstown was fun.
The time we went to Cooperstown before we took you, your mom and I saw that sign, free kittens, and she wanted to take a kitten. I just kept driving. No kittens today. But yeah, I mean, you'd think you were somewhere out west. It is very rural. But and she takes the country out of it with a pronunciation. It's yellow, not yeller, and so on.
Yeah,
if you listen to,
but she still sings Metter at one point. Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Okay.
I heard the R.
Okay. Now the thing was like jazz artists before Blossom, they got their hands on this song for some reason. There's something that appealed to them about it, and they did their own versions. Miles Davis played it as part of his repertoire in the 1950s, and he loved Blossom's version. And, again, you're so used to hearing this at a faster pace and more...
Dun 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 dun.
More hee-hawish.
Well,
If do 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 clip clap clip clap clip, yeah. I just like this version better because it's just, like I said, it's just so unexpected. It's like one of the last songs you would ever expect to hear in a jazz club with a trio at that pace.
yeah.
And I'd have to agree, some of it, like, some of the lyrics, it's like, yeah, it kind of almost doesn't work at that pace, but
Yes.
I just don't care. I think she really puts it across.
I'm biased. I like the original version better. Alright, next song. I Won't Dance. I first heard this song in Kenneth Branagh's musical adaptation of Love's Labour's Lost, which was a bit of a mixed bag of a movie. I personally enjoyed it, but it's not one of Shakespeare's best plays in my opinion, and I can say this because I did the play when I was 17 as Custard the Swain, and also because it's one of his earliest ones, so it's a little rough around the edges, and making it a musical was kind of an odd choice, so if you watch the film, you're either going to like it or you're not. Anyway, this song in the movie was more coquettish, where the princess and her ladies are trying to put off the king and his men because they didn't want to admit that they liked them. However, in this one, Blossom very much likes this person, but is warning them that she really cannot dance. But she might be down for something else, wink. I also like the addition of the French, and I was pleased that I was able to roughly translate the lyric to, I won't dance, I can't. I won't dance, I don't want to. I can't dance, thanks, sir. You are kind and I like you, but I can't but it's true, but I can't dance and I'm with you. Something tells me, though, that Blossom doesn't need to worry. Knowing her, they'll have fun some other way.
Now, 5 people get songwriting credit for this one.
Wow.
Jerome Kern wrote the music. Oscar Hammerstein and Otto Harbach wrote the original lyrics in 1934.
Okay.
Dorothy Fields and Jimmy McHugh rewrote almost all the lyrics in 1935 for the musical Roberta, and those are the lyrics that people are more familiar with.
Okay.
Yeah. And she sings, I know that music leads the way to romance, so if I hold you in my arms, I won't dance. Sweet. The French verse is a nice touch, and I think the thing is, it's like, yeah, she keeps saying, I won't dance, I won't dance, I won't dance, because it's just going to be, we're just going to get kissy. So,
I always thought it would be like, you really want to dance with me? Okay, but it's going to be awkward.
Well, no, I kind of looked at it as like, well, I guess it would be awkward because, like, she's just too distracted by this guy, like,
I always get the impression it's like, dude, I might step on your foot, I might accidentally knee you where it counts, it's not going to be pretty.
Make it up to you. But yeah, I never looked at it as like, I've got 2 left feet kind of thing. It's just like, I'm just highly distracted by your hotness.
I could see that. Alright, next song, Down With Love. Now, when I first heard the title, I went, uh-oh, is Blossom okay? Well, it seems so, because this is the most upbeat song about love sucking that I've ever heard. But I think it feels uplifting because Blossom is like, I don't need love from anyone, I just need to be happy for me. So let's start all this over and let's go. And the song moves fast because she wants love out of her life fast. However, I don't think anyone who's ever said Down With Love would play this song if they felt that way, because they might want something more fueled with rage. So you can't help but smile because Blossom is happy and her happiness is infectious.
Well, I know that doing research on this, there was a movie with, I think it was definitely Ewan McGregor, and I don't know if it was Renee Zellweger. They did a 1996 movie called Down With Love, which was kind of like a parody or maybe a tribute to those Doris Day, Rock Hudson sexless sex comedies.
Yeah.
It was like, all talk, no action. But yeah, this song, it is so fast, it lasts less than 2 minutes. It's fast singing and fast playing, and since it's from a musical, whoever's singing this song, they're going to have a happy ending in the end.
Yep.
And I'm impressed with not only how fast, but how clearly Blossom sings the words to this song. You can understand everything. But it's just at, like, such a frantic pace. And I love it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of unusual. Like you said, with the title of, like, Down With Love, you think it's going to be, like a slow song or, bitter. Yeah. But it's just not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Alright, next song, Dearie's Blues. Well, based on the title, her happiness didn't last long. So this song is Blossom saying, this is who I am, and I'm a bit weird, but people still love me. And unfortunately, I don't think they'd love her with this song. Once again, it's too cutesy, so I don't find it all that cute. And the scatting kind of annoyed me because I felt like Blossom was trying to use it as a euphemism, and I wanted to say, Either use a metaphor or spell it out. Don't be precious with it. The song can also feel a bit random, and it doesn't feel blue either. It feels like Blossom is taking pride in who she is. The only part she seems to be ashamed of is when she says she's evil, only to later say, when you combine all of me, men adore me. So maybe she's blue over the fact that everyone else loves her except herself. It's hard to say.
Well, she wrote this one, and it's like sometimes it's called Blossom's Blues instead of Dearie's Blues, which makes a lot more sense.
It's more alliterative.
Yeah. And like doing research online, it always came up as Blossom's Blues.
Yeah, that's what I get. Well, no, that's the next song. Next song. Never mind.
I think the lyrics are hilarious. I'm Gina Lola Brigida. I ain't Red Riding Hood. And for me, that scatting in the middle is priceless because it's like she leaves it up to you as to what she's got on her mind. And I like that. It's like, it's up to you. Like, I don't think you necessarily have to lay everything on the line. You can leave it up to the listener to think for themselves, like, what does she mean with all that scoodly doodly
I think we're all thinking the same thing, though.
Or variations on the theme, as it were.
Yes.
You hear that voice singing these lyrics about how her nightly occupation is stealing other women's men, and you think, yeah, right. But you never know.
No.
Because, that cutesy voice could be like,
murderous?
Her disguise.
Yeah.
Like, maybe she really is a badass.
Reminds me of the story where, what was it? This came out online recently. There was a Jewish woman who, during World War II, she would seduce men who were Nazis and then murder them in the forest.
Wow.
And people were like, man, where the hell's that movie? I want to watch that. And I was like, yeah, someone made a movie about that. I don't remember her name, but if you Google it, you can find her story on the internet. It's pretty badass.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I like this song. I think it's a hoot. Because it's like she seems to be singing against type, but on the other hand, I wouldn't turn my back on her. Yeah.
All right, next song, Manhattan. So the title of this came up as slightly different on Google.
Really?
Yeah. Let me Google it really quickly. It'll still keep recording if I Google it. So
I
let
hope
me
so, because I don't want to redo this.
No. I remember we had to Google something last time when we did our episode about news of the world. So let me just type it in. Manhattan, Blossom, Dearie, lyrics. Here we go. So it's loading. It's still loading. Oh, yes. So sometimes on Google, if you do Google this song, it comes up as I'll Take Manhattan, not Manhattan.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know why they did it, but they did it. All right, so...
But it's the same lyrics, more or less.
It's the same lyrics. They just added a few words to the title. I don't know why. All right, so this is Blossom's love letter to New York, and I can't relate to it. I don't care for New York City at all. I only like it around Christmas time because they have all the decorations.
Wait.
What?
Miss Broadway?
Yes. I know. So hear me out. I only like it around Christmas time because they have all the decorations up and they really go all out for it. And I've also been on dates in New York before, and as Blossom says, it feels like the city was made for two people in love because it feels like there's so much out there for two people to do, like it was custom made for you almost. But overall, New York's too noisy, too polluted, and dirty, and it's just all too much.
And too Disney.
The Disneyfication of Times Square, yeah. And to quote Stephen Sondheim's company, there's a time to come to New York and time to leave it. I could never live there in a million years. It would just bombard me. And I know, again, as you pointed out, as the Broadway nerd, that sounds weird, but there are plenty of people on Broadway who don't live in the city. Look at Audra McDonald. So Blossom and her lover can take Manhattan, and I'll stick to our eye for now. But hey, if they make it a better place, not just for them, but for everyone else, yeah, I'd like to visit.
Yeah, and this is another fast song that was slowed down. The original was played for comedic effect, which I actually found on some Broadway website of all places. They actually had footage. It's a black and white man and a woman singing the song to each other from sometime maybe 1929. And basically the conceit is that, they're going to take Manhattan, but like they talk about Mott Street and the push carts gliding along, when in real life it was more rough and tumble. Everything that they're singing about in this song is from the viewpoint of a couple who doesn't have a lot of money to really enjoy the city the way that people with money at the time could, because of the whole stock market crash and all that sort of thing. So they're just trying to get their kicks where they can. And like I said, the original was played for comedic effect, But I think Blossom turns it into a real heartfelt song,
Yeah,
where
she
I
does.
never got that impression that it was like, we're poor, but we're going to make the best of this kind of deal. I mean, I really didn't know that until, doing the research and coming along the original and
Sure.
and why it was written that way. And I got to say, like the times that I visited your uncles, the times that they lived in New York, I never felt like I was living with them so much as surviving, because like the apartments that they lived in were just so small and so cramped, and I would think, you times this by a few million and it just staggers the imagination, as Charlie
Yeah.
Brown would say.
Yeah. Wait, Uncle Joey lived in New York too?
Yeah, he did. He lived in the Bronx
When? Oh, was he working at the zoo?
when he was working at the Bronx Zoo
Oh, yeah, before
Yeah.
he became allergic to everything.
that he came in contact with, yeah.
Oy.
And his welcome to New York was his apartment got broken into, I think through the air conditioner, and they stole his bicycle.
Oh, God.
And then when Uncle Michael lived in, was it Brooklyn or Brooklynville or Manhattanville? I can't remember where it was. He lived upstairs above a pizza parlor,
Ooh, nice.
and he ended up eating a lot of pizza. Smelled great though, but yeah, again, like a small place. Hello, roaches.
Yeah,
And-
seriously. Sierra Baga says there's rats in the subway, there's urine in the air, there are cockroaches in your very own tub that you can shower with. Thank you, God. Oh, God.
Oh man. Anyway,
God, I don't have roaches in my bathtub, or I'd freak the hell out. Alright, so, last song. The party's over, and so's the album. Great closer song. Blossom is telling everyone to pack it up and go home. And to quote Homer Simpson, now I have to face stupid reality. Can you do it?
now I have to face stupid reality again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But not to fear, Blossom is only packing away the pretty things for next time, and they'll still be here when you want to come back. But you can also hear Blossom saying, seriously, wrap this up, I want to go home and go to bed. It's like a parent saying, yes, you need to go to bed. Yes, you do. But they're saying it while tucking you in bed, so it feels nice. However, I think she should have just jumped in with the lyrics right away, because the jam session at the beginning has you wondering if she's going to sing, and it prolongs the party a little too much.
Maybe that was intentional. Where like, it starts off with about a minute and a half of instrumentation, so maybe you're at that party and, you got the music going and people are just talking or maybe dancing or whatever, and then she has to come in and break the news.
Sorry,
to
everyone. Out.
This is from the musical Bells Are Ringing, which your mom and I actually saw the movie version with Judy Holliday, who was in the original Broadway version, and Dean Martin.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
And, okay. She comes in, gives us the news, it's time to face the music and all that. Nice swinging arrangement, and it's a nice way to close out this compilation. But especially, I don't know if you heard it at the very end, that last second laugh,
Yeah, what was that?
which indicates that the party is over for you, but maybe not for
them.
me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like, okay, everybody out, I've got my own gig to get to.
Nah, nice. Alright, so, overall, Blossom Dearie is probably one of the most unique singers of the 60s. And as much as Kat Edmondson sounds like her, Blossom's music stands on its own even when she's doing covers. Some songs will hit you, some songs will miss you, but I bet there'll be some you weren't expecting to stick and stay with you. So whether she's singing for an album or singing for Schoolhouse Rock, I always know it's her and I'm glad to hear her sing.
This is a great compilation. I know it says a lot about her voice, but I've never found it to be childish or girly or whatever you want to call it. It is light or high or airy. I'm not sure what the correct musical term would be.
I'm going to go with breathy.
But it's an adult singing.
Yes.
And I'm not too sure about the Kat Edmondson comparison.
Really? I
kind
hear
of
it. Didn't you say you thought it was a Blossom Dearie knockoff when you first heard Kat singing?
At first, I kind of thought it was an Astrud Gilberto, because the first song I heard by her is
Oh, What Else Can I Do?
What Can I Do? Yeah, and I thought, okay, this is someone who's trying to imitate Astrud, and I can hear it. I don't know, maybe it's because both their voices are high, and there's another singer out there that Kat Edmondson kept getting compared to. Her name is Stacey Kent, and I was actually able to track down some of her stuff, and beyond having like red hair and a short haircut, I really couldn't pick up on it.
Yeah.
And that stuff was just hard to sit through.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm glad I have this compilation. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want her stuff, like the 6 Verve albums, I think there are box sets out there available on Amazon. Depends how much you're willing to pay for it. But, this is a great place to start. And for me, it's kind of all the blossom I need.
Yeah. All right. So as always, thank you for listening to another episode of My Dad Listens to This. If you liked it, great. If you didn't like it, too bad. Let us know specific thoughts you have in the comments. Tap the subscribe button if you want to know when new episodes are coming out, or tap the bell if you want to be notified immediately. If you follow me on any of my social media accounts, I post all the episodes there. And if you're friends with my dad, you can get the episodes through him via email. So thank you as always for listening to My Dad Listens to This. Dad, anything you want to say before we log off?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you, as always. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yep. And tune in next time for what I think will be a very fun episode. Because, guys, we're doing a Christmas special. So
no, not that.
Yes, that. All right. So we'll see you then. Have a good one.